Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today, yet again, we have to talk about some not so hot things, really. And that is this Lunar New Year's poker event. And before we get any further, I actually had a fairly positive take on the initial launch of the poker. My conclusion on a personal level was that I do think that this poker version can kind of work as an Arena 2.0, but it can't coexist with Arena because these both are kind of infinitely grindy game modes. And to me, it seems completely out of whack that, for instance, to grind for a new champion, you would have to grind this, and then to grind units, you would have to grind that, or lower rarity champions there as well. And my idea was like, hey, look, if Kabam wants to try out new things, fair enough, I'm kind of for it. But again, then they would have to bring in units into this, and perhaps just as an experiment, close down Arena for like a week, run this for a week or a month, and see how people like it, and maybe it could work. Because overall, I didn't think that poker game was quote unquote capturing the essence of MCOC, if you will. But at the same time, as a change of pace, I thought it maybe could work as a replacement for Arena, as like an basically infinitely grindy game mode with basically very, very limited skill required to play it. And I'm sure the people would, there would be a following for that game mode as well. And on paper, when Kabam announced Lunar New Year, it kind of seemed that part of that feedback, like not closing down the Arena bit, but, adding units to this, could potentially, make this better and make it closer to the version that I would have idealized in my head. And upon the playing of this new game mode, I must say that this, to me personally, feels like not only a downgrade of a Lunar New Year's event of the past, it also feels to me like a downgrade to the poker game. And kind of let me explain. Number one, the first big issue, the amount of points, man. You need to get 136,000 points a week to grind this out. That is a very large amount of points. Even if you play exclusively with these Bronco tokens, which you can, kind of top yourself up with until you kind of move up the milestones. But, like, so far I have done majority of the game with Bronco tokens and, like, maybe 3 games or 4 games to kind of, like, get me to the milestone to get the next Bronco tokens. But even when you use exclusively Bronco tokens to gain the points, it takes a while, man. As we can see, I think in total, I'd say I have played this game mode for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. And I'm at 34,000 points. So extrapolating, let's say, I'm going to say hour and a half for 35k points. I'm going to be kind of generous here. So it'll be 90 minutes for 35,000, right? So I need 136,000. 136 divided by 35 will make it 3.8 times the points that I need. And I'm going to times it by 90 minutes. And then I'm going to divide it by 60 to get the amount of hours. I need to play this 6 hours a week. And so that is 6 hours a week to get to top points. It's a whole lot of a grind. And that's going to be my first feedback on this game mode separately. And there's going to be another video coming probably tomorrow about kind of like the general grindiness of the game over the past, I'd say, month and a half. But 6 hours. I could knock out like 3-4 Necropolis parts in that time. 6 hours. 6 hours. That is more time required to get all the milestones in Arena. Or the first 2 arenas and some milestones in the 4th arena. That is more time required that is required to do completion of classic difficulty and elder difficulty. Who did the game math here? That is the big question here. Who figured that putting the milestones at approximate like 6 whatever our play requirement on this. That is abysmal. It almost feels as if somebody didn't test it. Almost feels like somebody missed the fact that this takes like 6 fucking hours to complete. So you'd think for playing this 6 hours a week, you'd get some good rewards, right? The top milestones would get increasingly better. You'd get some tier 7 basics in there, potentially some tier 4 alphas. Nope. Throw the entire way up, you only get these red envelopes. So this feels a lot more grindy than it previously did to grab like all the milestones. And the milestones seem kind of fairly crappy. So that immediately again kind of deflates the game mode and, you know, makes it worse in my opinion. The second thing that we have to talk is that we only have red envelopes here. There are no greater red envelopes available this year. And these are just, well, kind of shit. Right? You get 76% of the time you get gold. 8% of the time you get ISO. So, what? 85% of the time? So it would be 8 or 9 out of 10 crystals that you open is going to be gold or ISO. I mean, sincerely, what the fuck? Right, from the bottom of... Yes, I know we get several hundreds of these, but what the fuck? They'd be much better off taking golden ISO out of here altogether, or adding it as like some sort of second guaranteed item, and just giving us a less of these envelopes. It's dumb. It's dumb. These are bad. These are very, very bad. I have opened, I'm going to tell you exactly how many red envelopes. What is it? 8, 16, 32. What is it? 48. Open 48 so far. I'm going to 2-star and 3-star. That's just about it, basically. Trash. Again, the question is, who the fuck thought this is like a good crystal or composition of crystal? They feel underwhelming and garbage. The last point of commentary that they'll make. So they made the event grindier. They made the Lunar New Year's event rewards more shit according to all standards, because we kind of expected that in Lunar New Year's event you get a nice little bump in units, like, you know, 1,000 units or like something like that over the entire event. I know people who have grinded all the points already, and they either got 0 units or like 88 units. This is a trash event. This is a trash Lunar New Year event, and it's a trashier version of this MCOC poker thing. The last thing, the gameplay mechanics, as far as I'm concerned, have not gotten better. On a personal note, and you know, this might kind of differ. On a personal note, I think it's gotten significantly more boring. I think poker rules where you were paying attention to the factions, where you were paying attention to kind of like their numbers and symbols, worked significantly better because you had more options what to do. Realistically, unless you get like 3 of a kind of one of the rarer factions on your opening 5, you just would always end up going for the fire faction, because that's kind of like the guaranteed points. So it's less engaging. It's more boring. It's definitely not like more fun activity to do in a game mode that's grindy. It's crucial, because previously you kind of had to think more, you had to be a bit more engaged, and the game mode itself kind of felt more fun. But like, if I'm forced to do this hundreds upon hundreds of times every week in order to get the milestones, that loss in kind of like the fun factor or complexity of this, I would say, yet again makes this a downgrade. So, in whichever way I look at Lunar New Year as a separate event, so this is worse than that. When I look at this MCOC poker thing that we had the first time in and out, this again feels worse to play it and kind of rewards-wise as well, I guess I'd say. So, BAM released something, it got mixed reactions. They said they took our feedback and made changes, and somehow all of that accounts to something that is noticeably and significantly worse than it was before. You know, I can promise you, most of the people probably wish at this point that Kabam hadn't changed it. So I don't know what they're doing. And as I said before, there is another video coming that is not going to be the most stellar, but I do make these videos because I obviously want the game to do the best I can. For instance, with the battlegrounds change, I understand why people are mad. On a personal note, I didn't make like a raging video about it because so far the change to me personally didn't seem to degrade BGs so drastically, but we'll see how it works out because that's based on a very limited experience. So, one thing's for clear though, Kabam's making quite a lot of changes to the game, and a lot of them are not landing with the player base. They just make the game kind of grindy, different, and in many ways less fun than it used to be, at least to me. And this is again, whichever way I look at this new version of MCOC Poker, it seems inferior. Let me know what you guys think. I'll catch you guys soon. Bye-bye. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about the next